So Trump was indicted again, but what is that distracting us from? My guess, all the Biden blunders of the past few days. We're going to cover that today here on Speechless, The Daily Show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Speechless, The Daily Show, the second video of today, simply trying to cut it up so that I can appeal to other people that might not want to watch a full 40, 50-minute video. But if you like what you're seeing and you like what you hear, then give this channel, this video, a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment what you think about my new kind of format that I'm trying out here, especially as my college starts to run up. Hey, everybody. I'm Phares. I'm host of Speechless. I'm a 22-year-old conservative college student out of Central Illinois. And yeah, I kind of talk fast sometimes, but don't worry. You'll be able to keep up. We're going to get right on into it here, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video, and leave me a comment with what you think about anything that I have to say here today. But the Trump was indicted again, this time in Georgia. I called it. If you go back to my earlier videos when I talk about previous Trump indictments, I called it. I knew this Trump indictment was coming. And I'm going to cover the Trump indictment likely tomorrow. I got to read through it and everything. I've heard some crazy crap about it, but I got to read through it a little bit more. But my biggest question is, what is this distracting us from? Because every time that we've had a Trump indictment, like I've said in previous videos, some kind of scandal has coincided with the announcement of the indictment and some other scandal across our political world. I mean, in one case, it was Hunter Biden's plea deal falling apart, as well as the cocaine in the White House. And all of a sudden, Trump's indicted within a few days, within a week. What the heck? So what could this Trump indictment be distracting us from? Well, first, this is all out of the Daily Wire. A top lawyer representing President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, in the investigation run by special counsel David Weiss, is asking to withdraw from the case after the collapse of a plea deal. The attorney Chris Clark filed a motion to withdraw in Delaware's federal court on Tuesday, today, pointing to a witness advocate rule that could become an issue during future legal proceedings. Based on, this is a quote, based on recent developments, it appears that the negotiation and drafting of the plea argument and diversion agreement will be contested, and Mr. Clark is a percipient witness to those issues. The filing said Clark's withdrawal will not cause a, quote, substantial hardship because Biden has other lawyers to assist him in the matter, the filing added. So very interesting. Probably not the biggest thing, but it compiles with a few other stories. But so Hunter has a possible witness as his attorney in these cases, and so then he's asking to be withdrawn. Interesting. Following that, federal prosecutors rejected a claim by Hunter Biden's lawyers that a pretrial diversion agreement on a felony firearm offense surviving the collapse of their plea deal. In a filing in Delaware's federal court on Tuesday, special counsel David Weiss and his team said the agreement in which prosecutors would drop the gun case if Biden met certain conditions never took effect. So the diversion that they were trying to, so they're trying to divert trial and everything like that. Obviously, originally Hunter had this plea deal for the tax crimes as well as the gun and the gun charge, which the gun charge is all about. Basically, he wasn't supposed to own a firearm when he knowingly had a illegal drug addiction. That's basically what the court filings say. And so the plea deal falls apart. They're trying to avoid trial through a diversion, and that also seems to be collapsing as well. Does mainstream media not want you to know about that? Is that the Trump divert? Is that what they're trying to divert you and distract you from? By using the Trump indictment? Interesting. And then, even furthering the Hunter Biden controversy, a former FBI agent who worked on the investigation into Hunter Biden has corroborated a major claim made by a whistleblower and IRS supervisory special agent Gary Shapley. The unnamed retired FBI supervisory special agent testified to the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability in a closed-door session on July 17th. The committee released a 65-page transcript of that testimony on Monday, so yesterday. The ex-agent that has come out backed up allegations made by Shapley that President Joe Biden's transition team was tipped off about the FBI's intent to interview Hunter. The agent said he was notified the evening before the date of the expected interview, planned to be held on December 8th, 2020, and the Biden transition team had been warned. He said, quote, "I was refreshed by the testimony of supervisor number 2, and I believe he's correct. I believe and now getting into the frame of mind, I know I was upset when I learned about it," the agent told lawmakers, which of course would be a big no-no. This whole thing, Biden was tipped off that his son Hunter was being interviewed in a potential investigation. Shouldn't know that beforehand. How often do you think Trump was tipped off about investigations into the Hunter collusion and interviews and everything. No, that's not how it works. It's not how secret investigations work. You don't get tipped off on something like that. But of course, the mainstream media wouldn't want you to know about that either, because they don't want you to know about the Hunter Biden crime family, well, the Hunter Joe Biden crime family that we have going on here, and their intense corruption in all areas of the United States government and in secret business dealings and the investigations into them. No, they wouldn't want you to know about that. That's why they're distracting you with the Trump indictment. That's what they're trying to do. They don't want you to know about, and yeah, these are kind of little stories that piece together the larger narrative. But again, they don't want you to know about it. But of course, all of this is problematic. But that might not be the only thing that the Biden crime family is trying to divert attention from. If it's none of that, then maybe it's Biden's response to the devastating wildfires occurring in Hawaii. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. These wildfires are insanely terrible. But while initially being asked about the rising death tolls in what I believe is the most deadly wildfires in over a century in America, and also the most deadly natural disaster in Hawaii's history, the president, when he was asked about this, said no comment to reporters on Sunday, obviously seeming like a fairly, like a kind of a crappy response when being asked about the rising death tolls of America, or of Americans in an awful wildfire, a devastating wildfire. And while he did, I will give him credit a little bit, very little. I will give credit when it's due. He did speak briefly about this last Thursday in a speech where he basically said he sent condolences to people that were in lives that were lost. But by Sunday though, the death toll had skyrocketed even further. And so why is his response to the continuing disaster no comment? Why? Well, Karine Jean-Pierre, you guys might know her. She's the White House press secretary. Was asked questions regarding this, I believe yesterday, Monday, and her responses were very similar. No comment. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Here's that.
You could expect to hear from the president on this issue. Clearly, it is something that is deeply concerning to him when it comes to the wildfires that we have seen in Maui. That's why we, again, had the administrator here. That's why she was on TV the last couple of days talking, being on the ground. She can speak directly to this, right? Being on the ground.
I'm asking about the president.
No, I just said you'll hear from the president on this. I don't have anything to announce at this time, but certainly he's the president, right? You're going to hear from him. You heard from him on Thursday, and then you've heard from the administrator for the past several days. And so what the president wants to make sure is that Maui has the government of Hawaii has everything that they need to support the people on the ground. It's been a devastation, as we have seen. You've just mentioned.
Wait. I want to keep playing the clip. But did you guys hear that? Hear that one more time, what she had to say about it.
You've just mentioned devastation to support the people on the ground. It's been a devastation.
It's been a devastation. That's some redundant crap, right? That's her trying to be like, oh, well, I really don't have anything to say because there's no comment yet, but I have to say something. So it's a devastation. Of course, it's just awful.
And as we have seen, you've just mentioned the loss of life. You just heard from the administrator who has said that she has been on the ground for 2 whole days, and that we have been there since day one. You heard that there's 300 personnel on the ground. So this is something that the president takes very seriously. And you've heard from the governor of Hawaii saying how he appreciates the efforts and what we've been able to do from the federal government. Of course, you're going to hear from the president. Don't have anything to share at this time. But let's not forget, we did hear from him on Thursday, right, when he was in Utah ahead of talking about the PACT Act, which is, as you know, it was a year anniversary, an issue that is incredibly important to many Americans.
And so now she's trying to divert.
Time to speak to it. So I'm sure you'll be hearing from the
And so then she was trying to divert of, oh, look at the other thing that Biden talked about. You heard her in there trying to be like, oh, well, he talked about this other thing that Biden said, but no, he said no comment, and that was just a callous response to the entire to what's going on in Hawaii. Pierre was also asked whether the president would go visit Hawaii in her briefing yesterday, but said that there was no announced plans. Then today, Biden announces he has plans to go to Hawaii with First Lady Jill as soon as they can. But this raises the question, who controls you, Joe? Shouldn't it be given that you do everything you can to help Americans that are struggling with this disaster? Shouldn't that be a given? Including going to the site? Or do you have to wait until the media basically tells you to go? And this is just one of, but it's a perfect example of how Joe Biden is an America last president. And again, he has to wait for the media to tell him to do things. He gets asked about, well, what are they going to do to help? And she's like, you'll hear from the president. You'll hear from the president. Well, then today he comes out with his plan to help Hawaiians during this disaster. And it's kind of a slap in the face, but we're going to cover that. But Joe Biden is an America last president, everybody. Today, the White House announced exactly what it would be doing to respond to the disaster, and it primarily included mobilizing the Navy, Coast Guard, and FEMA for assistance, which is a lot of stuff that's pretty common for a natural disaster, but okay, good that they're doing that. However, most are focusing on the specific part of the plan that states, this is actually from the plan from the White House's website, that says FEMA has also authorized critical needs assistance, which provides a one-time payment of $700 per household to applicants who are displaced from their homes and have critical needs. $700 per household. Okay. Now, I don't know how much that will add up to in this situation, but I did the math on this, okay? I did the math on this to compare it and to prove how Joe Biden is an America last president. So when we do the math on this, if we assume that every household in Hawaii, which is about 468,000 households, according to the census, qualified for this assistance, which they won't. That's not how it'll work, because not every Hawaiian household is actually being hurt by this natural disaster. But if we assume that they are, and if all of them qualified for the assistance, then that would accumulate to just under $328 million of federal government spending through FEMA for this CNA, critical needs assistance. Which, of course, that's not how much will be spent in assistance, because it's likely to be much less, because that's the number. 328 million is the number for every United States or every Hawaiian household. But now let's compare that to how just last week the Pentagon announced that it will be sending another $200 million to Ukraine on top of already $43 billion we've already sent to them, to Ukraine. Last week, the Thursday that Karine Jean-Pierre was like, oh, yeah, well, you heard Biden send his condolences to the people of Hawaii last Thursday. That same day, we authorized another $200 million being sent to Ukraine on top of $43 billion that we've already sent. Now, according to all my available data, let's bring this full circle. According to all my available data, Ukraine is approximately 17 million households, which is a lot more than Hawaii has, but divide that by the 43 billion plus that we've already sent them, and you get about $2,700 per household. So President Biden and his executive branch are now sending $2,000 more per household to Ukraine than to American citizens in Hawaii. Now, I have to qualify that statement real quick by saying that the assistance being sent to Ukraine is different than the assistance being sent to Hawaii, and the fact of the quote unquote needs of Ukraine are different than those people in Hawaii. We're sending Ukraine military equipment, expensive equipment, everything like that. However, Hawaii's is more relief, food, and the $700 for critical needs assistance. And so, yes, technically we are sending more than just the $700 per household, but look how much money we are sending to Ukraine. And you're only offering, in terms of critical needs assistance, only $700 per household for Hawaii. My point still stands. Biden will spend billions and send billions in aid to another country while simultaneously giving much less to Americans who are in critical need. So spin the wheel and throw a dart of all the things I've talked about today. You could set it up, put it on a pinwheel, and throw a dart of the Hunter Biden scandals, of Hawaii, and that blunder that Biden has. And what is the Trump indictment distracting us from? Just spin the wheel, throw a dart, because it's all the Biden blunders. And here's the other thing that's crazy about this is it seems like Biden is blundering this Hawaii help and this Hawaii aid and this Hawaii natural disaster. We are just on 2 years, to the day almost, of Biden blundering the Afghanistan extraction and removal. Biden can never handle any critical situation. Point to me to a Biden situation that was a critical situation, a time-sensitive situation that he handled correctly, that actually went well, and as seamless as possible. I can't tell you one. I can't tell you one. So what is this Trump indictment distracting us from? Is it Hunter's crumbling court case? Is it the exposure of even more Biden corruption? Is it the blunder of the Hawaii aid? Or is it something else? Let me know in the comments. Tell me, what do you think this Trump indictment is distracting us from? Because at this point, I'm kind of done hearing about these Trump indictments. I don't know about you guys, but I want to know all the stuff that they're distracting us from, because that is the purpose of them at this point. It's to distract you. And I'll still cover the Trump indictment and talk about how likely bogus it is. I'm not going to say 100% that it's bogus. I have to read it first. I don't want to make a judgment before I actually read it, but based on my all available evidence, my assumption is that it's likely bogus. But let me know in the comments, what do you think it's distracting us from? Don't worry, I will cover the Trump indictment, but so tune in tomorrow for that. And to be reminded of that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit your notifications to all so that ScrewTube doesn't keep me off. Leave me a comment on what you think about anything I talk about or anything that you think I should be talking about. And share this video with your friends. I'd really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for watching Speechless. I'm your host, Kev Phares, 22-year-old conservative college student out of Central Illinois. God bless you. God bless America. And we'll be back tomorrow with more Speechless, The Daily Show.